today's episode because obviously we are in a new location and we are at the P&T Knitwear Studio in NYC, which is an amazing bookstore and space with an awesome podcasting studio that we are enjoying today. So, yes, as promised, this episode is going to be about ADHD and my experience as a Black woman living with ADHD and what it's like. This is actually perfect timing because October is ADHD Awareness Month. If you didn't know, now you know. And I recently was diagnosed with ADHD in May, and it came as a big shock to me. But at the same time, it wasn't shocking at all. And I really wanted to talk more about that and my experience. So I was in therapy working with my therapist, and she suggested that I do an ADHD evaluation. And sure enough, I did the evaluation and it came back saying that it was highly likely that I had ADHD. Now, me knowing myself, I shouldn't have been surprised because I've always been a person who I would describe as a multi-passionate person, meaning it's like in my brain I have 35 different things going on and I am, trying to attend to them all. So it made a lot of sense. And at the same time, some of the struggles that people go through with ADHD, such as dealing with lateness, aka dealing with time blindness, having difficulty switching between tasks, hyper focus and hyper focusing on your areas of interest. So for me, that was like one of the major things that I really identified with because I was like writing and reading and, just literature in general has been my hyper focus for so long. And I know that if I incorporate writing or reading into whatever I'm doing, I'm going to be so much more interested in it and I'm going to be able to finish it, which is, why I'm doing my MFA and one of the reasons why I decided to do my MFA. One thing I also wanted to say is that medication is A-okay. If getting medication for your ADHD is part of your journey, feel no shame and go ahead and do that because from what I've heard, it can absolutely help you excel and help you not get held back by some of the symptoms of ADHD. My particular type of ADHD is inattentive ADHD. My therapist says that I, don't necessarily need medication, but some lifestyle changes could probably make a really big difference for me. And it has been making a really big difference to me. I'm happy to report. And as I become more aware of different things that may be ADHD symptoms, I am able to plan my life around, having a consistent routine, consistency, you know, being more vocal about my boundaries and my needs and what me showing up in my best light is really going to look like. So it's a learning process and everyone's healing journey looks different. That's always, what we discuss at Spoken Black Girl. There are so many different healing journeys and I try to share as many of them with you as I can. But for now, I hope this has been enlightening. Be well. Oh, I did want to leave you with some journaling prompts. So if you do identify as someone with ADHD and you are a Black woman or a person of color, how do you think that that has impacted your ADHD journey at all? So that's something that you could write on if you want. Um, email me at contact@spokenblackgirl, and maybe it'll end up on the blog. We don't know. And the second one is kind of like a starter. It's like, I give myself grace for dot dot dot. So earlier in the episode, I talked about giving myself grace for all of the years that I didn't know that I had ADHD, and I was really hard on myself trying to achieve, top of everything. Um, so in your case, I give myself grace for what? What would you like to give yourself grace for in the past? And yeah, I will leave you with that. If you want to write in community with us, we have the Write Heal Thrive Collective. We are still welcoming new members and looking for great new members to highlight and pour into. We are sharing writing resources. We are affirming each other and uplifting each other, so that we keep writing and keep creating, because community is so important. So, yeah, check it out, spokenblackgirl.com. That's where you can find the home of the Healing Entrepreneur podcast. And I'm so grateful that you joined me for this episode, and we'll talk again soon. It's Roanna from the Healing Entrepreneur podcast, and I'm coming to you all with some more tips about ADHD. So, one common factor about ADHD is the forgetfulness, okay? That is one of the most popular symptoms that people like to refer to when it comes to ADHD. And I definitely have dealt with this, and you forget your keys, forget your wallet, forgot your ID, and you're like scrambling back to your house like 10 times. Then next thing you know, you're late. Uh-huh. If this is you, okay, we want to clue into this section, because we're going to be talking about leaving notes for ourselves, okay? Get out, I'm going to tell you, get out that planner, get out that journal, get out those sticky notes, use the notes app on your phone, set reminders. If you have appointments, you might want to have reminders going off at certain intervals before the appointment. These are all things that I do in order to stay on task and on time and on top of my life, period, because it can get very overwhelming with ADHD. One thing I realized early on, and this is like before I was even diagnosed with ADHD, because I was only diagnosed very recently in May, like I was saying. It was like either April, it was like April of this year I was diagnosed. But even before that, I started to realize, wow, Ro, you need to get organized, okay? And that means having folders and files for different subjects and topics, whether that's physical or, digital, making sure your digital archives are together, okay, so that you can find things with ease and move through your workflow with ease. Using all of the apps and tools to keep you on track. Of course, Google has a ton of tools that you can use. I've also seen people using Asana. I've used Asana, Airtable. There are a couple of other apps out there that help with project management, so that you can actually make sure that you are on track and organized with your stuff, okay? If you're an entrepreneur and you are dealing with ADHD, it's going to be so important that you stay organized so that when you are ready to, pop out and show people your business, like you've got, your press kit together and ready to go, and you know exactly where to go and get it, right? Um, like I said, I'm not even saying that I'm perfect with this. It's a process. I'm a work in progress. Um, but yeah, staying organized with reminders and notes is going to be a lifesaver for any creative entrepreneur, and especially one who deals with ADHD. Hey y'all, so I hope this was helpful and that you were able to see yourself a little bit in, my story. I think that there's a lot more to talk about here, especially when it comes to relationships and dealing with ADHD, and how we, as neurodivergent, especially neurodivergent moms, can support our kids. And so I have already a really special guest in mind who could be great with discussing that. But for now, I hope you enjoyed this. It's been really great chatting with you, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye.